If you want a 10, you gotta be a 10. What type of relationship do you want? Do you know? Can you answer that question right now? And instead of waiting for Mr. Right, Mrs. Right, it's time to focus on yourself. What's going on? What's good? What's poppin'? Welcome to another video. And in today's video, we're gonna talk about how to be happy when you're single, how to get through your single season, how to do singleness, okay? That's what we're gonna talk about. But before we get into the video, have you subscribed to my channel yet? If not, I'll give you a few seconds to do that now. You can hit that red button right below this video. Yeah, that one right there. Good. Now that that's done, let's get into the video. What you need to do, in my opinion, when you are single is get to know yourself. What are your likes? What are your dislikes? What are your passions? What are your desires? What are your hobbies? What's your attachment style? What are your love languages? Like, getting to know yourself, getting to know your character. How do you get to know who you are? You have to do things, you have to experience things, you have to do things on your own. You could do things with friends and family, yes, but ideally in your time of being single, you should try to do things by yourself. Now, as an extroverted person, I used to find this really hard. I used to want to be with people all the time, and I still thrive off of other people's energy, but I've actually learned to really enjoy my alone time, my me time, my time to do things by myself. If I have the opportunity to hang out with people, I'll catch myself choosing my me time or my alone time or my at-home time over that. So I've definitely grown as a person in that category. But so if you feel like you would have trouble going to lunch alone, try to go get a coffee alone. Sit alone in a Starbucks for 10 minutes, baby steps. That gives you space to do things the way you like. Therefore, understanding what you like, how you like them, and just getting clearer on yourself. There are tons of videos out there. I'll link some here and some in the description box. On attachment styles and love languages, and now's a great time to do these quizzes and get familiar with what are they even, and that way you can understand maybe why you are the way you are, what you are, and you'll be able to kind of have more clarity when you do get into a relationship. Maybe you'll be able to understand a little bit easier what that person's love language is, what their attachment style is. Having more information just makes life easier. Now, that brings me to another point, which is kind of discussing and going through your maybe childhood trauma, any traumatic experiences that have shaped you and formed you to be the way you are. Maybe past relationships, things that you didn't like and you were like, why did that happen? Or why did I do that? Or why did this go down? Talking and discussing, not just like living and then trying to get to the next relationship and then hoping that it's better than the last. Doing the work to figure out, okay, what happened back then? Why am I like this? Talk to your friends about it. Almost like a mini therapy session where you can like, okay, so why do you think I did this? Doing that kind of work rather than just coasting through life, not thinking about anything, or coasting through life just focused on when's the next person gonna come, or I want a boyfriend, or I want a girlfriend. If you don't have friends that you feel comfortable talking to about this stuff, you can do this on your own. This is really important. This is really actually great if you did it on your own, where you can just journal and write down, okay, so in my past relationships, this happened, and I think that it may be because of this. If it happens again, I can figure out maybe why at that point it happened. Again, the more you get to know yourself and reflect on the past and figure out what went down, what went wrong, what bothered you, the more you can understand what your values are and what your non-negotiables are for your future, which brings me to my next point, which is envisioning, manifesting, creating a vision board, knowing what you want in your future partner. I feel like a lot of people kind of sit around and are like, oh, like, they're on dating apps, they're trying to search, like, I don't want to be single anymore, I want to be in a relationship, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, do you even know what you want in a relationship? What type of person do you want? What type of relationship do you want? Do you know? Can you answer that question right now? Singleness, single season, so important. And it's like the time where like you do the work, you like discover. A lot of people are just waiting and like, I will say there is a lot of pressure to be in relationships these days. And I find, we grow up watching rom-coms that are like, all they're trying to do is get into a relationship, and there's not very many stories where it's like just work on yourself and do things that you like to do, and maybe don't rush into a relationship or don't try to date somebody. It's a lot of the time it's about love and it's about what everybody wants, and we grow up in that pressure, societal pressure. And I find there's also a kind of double standard where when guys are single, it's almost like, oh, he's single, he's available, and like maybe he's a player and like it's okay. But I find when women are single, it's almost like, oh, she's single, like why is she single? And it's different. And I feel like women feel they're almost embarrassed to say they're single. And I think there's also a stigma where singleness is lonely. If you're single, you're automatically lonely and sad. Like, no, I know a lot of people that are living their best lives being single, men and women. And I think that you could be having a great time with getting to know yourself and preparing yourself the best you can for your best partnership in the future. Now, another thing that I think is super important is understanding that we want to complete ourselves. We do not want to look for someone to complete us. That is the lazy way of doing it that will not be sustainable long term. You need to complete yourself. You need to figure out how you can be happy. How can you make yourself happy? What do you like? What don't you like? What can you do that makes you a happy person? When you are with somebody else, that addition can make you feel even happier, but you on your own, if you were not with that person, you would be a strong, happy human being. I think we see in movies like, oh, you complete me. I know it's not our fault. We grow up watching these movies and hearing these stories and fairy tales, and it's just not the way real life works. So we have to kind of undo some stuff and know how to, in the healthiest way, go about having a relationship, getting into a relationship, how to be single. It's not how it is in the movies. It's just not. Not looking for a you complete me, I complete you situation. Complete yourself. Have a sense of self. Develop some skills. Try a new language. Try a new activity, a new hobby. Do different things. As scary and as hard as that may sound to do by yourself, give her a shot. Everybody wants to date a 10, but you need to be a 10. Work on yourself, not just like the intellectual, emotional, spiritual stuff, but like physically, like work on yourself to be healthy, not for looks. Like you don't have to do things to try to look like the societal standards that there are today, which are crazy. Work on yourself health-wise so you can be the most attractive for yourself, but for also your future partner. What do you find attractive? Probably a fit person, healthy body. If you find that attractive, try and be that as well so that you can attract the same level. Value yourself so someone else can value you when the time is right. You know the expression, the grass is greener on the other side? I hate that expression. The grass is greener where you water it, and that I really like. The grass is greener where you put time and energy and effort, conscious effort in. Maybe you've done this in the past. So if you were in a relationship and you thought, oh, like this is really not working for me, of course you know if it was really, really not working for you, but think about it if it wasn't working for you, or were neither of you putting in, the time to water the grass? Who's doing more of the watering? Is someone standing out there day in and day out watering it while the other person's sitting on the couch? Or are you both out there taking turns watering it? Think about that. Practice individuality. So I think we've touched on this, but like doing things on your own, having your own hobbies, living your own life and being an individual, not just like conforming to whatever everyone else wants to do around you. Like having individuality, like, oh no, on Tuesdays I go to my dance class, or on Thursdays I go to my boxing class. Sorry, it's a non-negotiable. That's my thing, individuality, so that when you do get into a partnership, you've practiced enough not to just blend into someone else's lifestyle. You are you, that person is that person, and you're blending together, but you still are individuals, which is so attractive and so important. And my last tip, and kind of in closing, is the more you do this now in your single time, the more prepared you are now. Think of it as a dress rehearsal for your official, real, amazing partnership, for marriage, for the one. Practice now, get clear now, do things alone, live your best life, go through your childhood trauma, go through your past relationship trauma. Do all of that now. Don't waste time and just twiddle your thumbs while you're single and then hope to find the one. The people that maybe you would have given a chance in the past and maybe in the back of your mind know that they weren't, exactly what you were looking for, you'll be able to kind of like flush those a little quicker because you are so certain in yourself, you're certain what you want, you're clear on your values and non-negotiables, you have that vision board. You should be flexible with that so that you're not looking for Mr. Perfect or Mrs. Perfect, because that doesn't exist, but at least the main fundamentals are there and you're clear about that. You'll be able to date, effectively and efficiently in the future if you live your singleness season properly. And in my opinion, this is how you do it. I hope you'll take some of these tips and apply them to your single life and really, really watch the effects long term. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so that you get notified every time I post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.